Hello friends, it's Cassie. Welcome back to my YouTube channel for another video. Today is a special one. It's actually a blog hop, so I'm going to have my blog linked down below, but let's talk about what we're using and then we'll talk a little bit more about the blog hop. So I'm going to be using the brand new Cupcake Bouquet stamps and dies along with our Celebration balloon dies, and I also have the oldie but goodie Modern Embossed A7, and then we're going to bring in one of my faves, the One Light by Pearblossom Press. Yes, I love it. So I'm going to start off, we're going to color double speed. This is obviously a little bit faster than I normally color, and we're eventually going to speed it up 4 times, but I am starting off with a green color. Now I have seen this done that this is not leaves, that this is just another flower, but I decided to make it leaves mostly because I wanted that green pop in there because I thought it would just be really pretty with the other colors that I have chosen. But I have seen those done as flowers as well, and I think it's just as beautiful, but that's the beauty of coloring. You do what you want to do. So I chose green. And I did have these 2 colors. I think I put those up on this. I thought they were up on the screen. Turns out they're not. But I believe it was like YG 17 and 25. And then we had YG 99. I definitely wanted some drama in there. And then I'll go backwards and blend that out. That's the YG 17. And I think it was YG 25. I'm not sure. But here we are, we're going to bump it up 2 times or 4 times of the speed because this is a part of a blog hop. And I want you to head over to my blog and check it out. We're going to be celebrating with a lot of great people, the design team and some guest designers, because this is a part of Trinity Stamp's birthday bash. That is right. It's their 4th birthday. Lots of new release. And I'm telling you, there's so much. There's a little something for everybody for sure. So now, moving on, I thought I was putting those colors up on the screen. Turns out I just did not. And you can hear Miles in the background. But we're just going to continue coloring, starting lightest, going in darkest, and then kind of blending that out with our lightest again. And we've got blues and pinks. And then that last flower that I'm going to color ends up being a purpley color. And I just love this combination of colors, but I imagine that the options with this are just endless. So many great choices, and the design team has done some very beautiful samples with this stamp. It's so big and pretty. I'm going to take this and put it onto a 5x7 card. And yes, there are matching dies, so I'm going to grab that out and run this through my die cutting machine. Then I'm going to pull out another fave of mine. This is the Sentiment stock by Pearblossom Press, because it's pretty much the only thing I use to stamp out my black sentiments anymore. Ink that up with some juicy embossing ink, and then cover that with some embossing powder. It's a fine detail white embossing powder. And I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but I will have it linked down below that I did stamp out my image onto some Express It cardstock, and I used some Blackout ink to stamp it out. Those are Copic friendly, in case you were wondering. All right, yes, there's another matching die for the sentiment, and it cuts each of the words out separately. Now I have a piece of cardstock that is watercolor cardstock. I'm going to spritz this with some Distress Oxide in the color Wilted Violet. So that's a Distress Oxide spray. Kind of mutes it back a little bit, makes it look a little chalky. And I'm going to bring in the Distress Spray Stain Villainous Potion just because I want that little extra dark purple in there. And I know balloons don't typically look like this, but again, I don't care. This is my card. So I love this, and I like how it kind of subdues just a little bit because we did that over that Distress Oxide spray. I'll run this through my die cutting machine with our Celebration balloon die, and then I am going to ink the edges with some of that Villainous Potion Distress Oxide ink just to kind of make it pop a little bit more. Here is my cardstock. I have this down to 5x7. I'm just going to use some tape to mask off ground because I want to ground my cupcake a little bit. And I have some Pumice Stone Distress Spray Stain, and it did kind of do a little overspray, so that's why I'm splattering some of that on that background as well. And now I can glue down my balloon. And then once I get that balloon on there, I'm going to pull out that Modern A7 Modern Embossed A7 layering die. After I forgot I used the gel pen to make a string, and then I'll tack down part of that Modern Embossed A7 die. This one's just going to be a little smaller than an A7, and I'll run that through my die cutting machine. I just love doing that because it does give a little bit of an embossed edge. And now I can glue down my little Cupcake Bouquet. Everything's getting glued down because it's going to have plenty of dimension in the end. You will see this. Once that's down, now I want to stamp that little bit that goes around the candle to make it look like it's lit up, pardon my head. And then I'm going to poke a hole through our light, all the way through to the back with my pickup stick, and then I'm just going to use my Teflon bone folder to kind of make sure that stays down and out of the way so that hole stays good. Because this is where our one light's going to come in. I'm bringing in my base, which is a 5x7 card base. It's already folded and ready. I put a little dot through the center of that so I know exactly where to put my one light, but this is how they come. They're easy peasy. You pull out your mechanism, you pull out your battery, and if your battery doesn't light up at first, it might just be some residual tape on there, so make sure you get that off of there, but just put it in place, and everything's good to go. That's why these are so beautiful. It's super easy. And there you go. But I don't like that side, so I want to do it on the other side. So I'm just kind of playing around, making sure that everything looks good. I just need to know where I want to push that, or stamp down the word push. But before we do that, I'm going to attach down my one light, just using some liquid glue. You could use some score tape or something like that, but I'm just putting that right on my base. And then here's where I'll bring in a stamp set. This is the Papercrafting Magic. So it's great for interactive cards. I'm just going to ink up the one that says push and put that where I would be pushing, or our recipient would be pushing. And then I'm going to glue down our happy birthday. So I like that they're separate. I decide to keep the 2U away from there. I don't want that on there. And so we'll just glue down our happy and birthday. And I like how those kind of go around the candle. Sorry, you can hear Miles in the background. And then our next step would be to put down some foam tape. So a typical foam tape is not going to be thick enough. You'd have to double it up. But if you have something that's at least 3 millimeters thick, that will work. I will have this stuff linked down below. But yes, and then just cover that backing. And I should have done this first, but I do want to stamp our cupcake on the inside using that Villainous potion. It isn't a perfect stamp out, but that's okay. It's on the inside of the card. And then I take the last sentiment that says make a wish, and I'll stamp that over the top. And now we can peel off all of that release paper on the front of our card base so that we can attach down our panel. And remember, our panel's just a little bit smaller. So I'm just going to ever so carefully make sure I stick that over the top and make sure everything still works. And it does. Don't you love it? Super fun 5x7 card with a one light on it. So like I said, it's a part of a blog hop. Head down to the description box down below where you'll find all the products I used along with a link to my blog so that you can hop along for a chance to win a prize. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a great day.